Life on Eden is tough, uncomfortable and brutal, and from the game and movie is shrouded in mystery. I want to yap about it. Hi, I'm a yapper and I'm going to be yapping about the life you can expect barely surviving on Eden Station from the Iron Lung universe. These are the chapters if you want to just skip right ahead to what interests you most. Some of this is fact and some of it's theories I have from watching the movie and notes that we get from the game. Eden Station is the largest surviving man-made structure that survived the Quiet Rapture. It was originally a space station for Mars, the first human off-world colony. Post-Rapture, it contains the largest population in the entire universe, at 468 at the time the game and the movie takes place. And it contains the only remaining trees in the entire universe, which unfortunately became the last tree which has eventually died. The people of Eden seem to live a very religious cult-like life, all centered around the last tree of Eden. Children of Eden are provided a seed pendant to carry a piece of life with them wherever they go as a reminder for what they fight every day for, and that is the very future of life. The children of Eden are also taught that when they die, their bodies become the soil and that the last tree will live again. This is what I suspect to be one of the main reasons that they carry the seed pendants, not just as a reminder, but wherever they die there is hope that their bodies will seed new life in the universe. Eden also seems to have a very nihilistic approach to their existence. They understand that this is the end of their time, the end of humanity. As Simon says in the movie, it's game over and they know it. But this is not about them. In a way, their ideology is similar to that of the COIs. This is bigger than a statement. But instead of working towards the future, they are allowing the future to unfold because they feel powerless or unable to actively affect it. This religion or cult does not seem to have a god in the typical sense of a large deity, but they do place faith in the tree, something that they see as bigger than them, a reminder of home, humanity and life. The society in Eden is very connected. They refer to each other as brother and sister, with the apparent leader, at least of the ideology, being called the Father. They are very patriotic of Mars, and incredibly passionate about their independence from the COI. And given their proximity to Mars, as far as we are aware, they are likely the first people to notice the Quiet Rapture happening. We know from the movie that Simon as a kid, alongside other children of Eden, witnessed Mars vanish. 10 minutes later, and they'd see the sun go out. It appears from a few flashbacks we get that children of Eden are taught combat from a very young age. Simon as a child surrounded by bodies covered in blood. I do not believe that Simon as a child literally killed a dozen of children of Eden, but rather, I believe that Simon had been trained for this from a couple of years after the Rapture, when Simon was around 7 or 12 years old, especially since one of the most precious items Simon owns is his knife holster. This knife holster was given to Simon as a child from his mother, and in addition, it is the thing that keeps the black box contained within the life vest at the end of the movie. Simon even saying, "Keep it safe, mother. It's more than me." To further support this, when the Blood Dealer is talking to Simon at the end, she talks about Simon's mother, saying, "Would your own mother recognise the killer she spawned? Maybe she'd be proud." The economy of Eden is dire, struggling, unsustainable, and what eventually caused the universe to lose 11% of the total human population in one desperate failed attempt to fix it. You might be wondering how I figured that's the case. What gave me all this information and knowledge? Simon's clothing, and the clothing of the people we see in the flashbacks. There is a very critical thing in filmmaking called mise en scène. Every single piece is crafted and has a meaning, usually. I believe this is definitely the case in Iron Lung. The clothing of the people of Eden is torn, ragged, barely any sign of repair, even from other scrap clothing, which you could theoretically do with one spare piece of clothing and a bit of sharp metal for a makeshift needle and thread. Unrelated, but the Sona that I'm talking through, their character is actually based on Eden's clothing. As mentioned in the beginning, Eden isn't just the largest man-made structure remaining after the Quiet Rapture, it also has the biggest population of 456 souls. The reason I believe Eden was able to handle this population size for almost 30 years is because Eden was originally a seeding station, built around Mars to support the initial colonization, and then remained in orbit to act as a starport. This is why they had the last tree, soil, and supplies enough to barely keep them afloat. Because keep in mind, Eden is just one station. COI is built up of a handful of stations and a couple of ships. Simon in the movie states that there is no soil left, and that is partially correct. Soil can run out, and the tree will consume all of the nutrients in it eventually. Eden then had two options, either start sacrificing or start praying, and they chose the latter, with the ideology of, when we die, our bodies become the soil. It's kind of a way of making it acceptable to use dead bodies to resupply nutrients, without making it incredibly morbid. Despite the situation, there is one resource that Eden does have in abundance, or at least would have, and that is oxygen. They likely would have stockpiled oxygen from the tree to not only use in reserves for worst case scenarios, but also for trade, which I believe did occur for a while between the COI and Eden, until relations unfortunately took a very sour turn. The COI and Eden in both the movie and the game have incredibly tense relations with one another. Any attempt or hope at forming an alliance was destroyed when Filament Station was blown up. Eden, as mentioned before, is incredibly patriotic and has a strong desire to maintain their independence, which makes them opposed to joining the COI. If people of Eden were exposed to the COI's ideology, that could lead to collapse of the belief system around the last tree. It could cause chaos for Eden. This is an issue because the COI clearly have more scientific knowledge and resources, given that I believe their stations and ships were outfitted for deeper exploration of our solar system. This is the entire reason they had the knowledge and capability to create the SM model of submarines. And if they had access to the Grove, then they might be able to actually revive the last tree and return hope to the universe once again. I suspect that for the first few years after they saw Proxima Centauri disappear, and learned that the cryo-rapture caused every star to go, just not Sol, Eden and the COI had a system of trade, mainly for oxygen in exchange for whatever technology of tools the COI had. This is how the character known as the Father even knew or suspected the COI's technological superiority. Because in the universe of Iron Lung, Mars was colonized in 1993, so Eden Station has been in orbit of that planet for 3 centuries when the cryo-rapture happened, and almost 4 centuries when the SM-13 expedition begins. Given the age, the collapse of trade between Eden and the COI, and Eden's large population, these were the perfect conditions for a brutal event to take place. An event that would cause 11% of the universe's human population to be lost forever. Filament Station was a COI populated station, and in 2354 Eden would invade, leading to a 9-day conflict ending in the total and complete destruction of the station and the cost of 62 COI lives and an unknown number of Eden lives. I believe that Eden's attack on the station was purely for power, not political or social, I mean literal nuclear energy, because I think that the Filament Station was actually the COI's main power plant. One of my friends said to me that maybe they were trying to kill COI members so they can have more bodies for the soil for the last tree. But Simon says to Ava in reference to the station's destruction, that wasn't part of the plan, that wasn't supposed to happen. Filament Station was destroyed via its reactor overloading. If this conflict was about resources or space, then the reactor would be an ideal thing to hold, but they induced this explosion. They were messing around with the reactor, and after 9 days, when they were losing the battle, they scorched earth it, they blew it up. I think this is a major indicator of Eden Station starting to fall into heavy disrepair, barely keeping afloat, especially without help of the COI. Either the physical structure is wasting away, or they are losing fuel. I think that it's far more likely that it's the physical structure, otherwise they could have just raided the Filament Station, taken the fuel rods, got the reactor and then left, to avoid joining life in the COI. But that's for another video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, there are more to come, along with more Iron Lung related animations I'm making in the background. I hope you have a fantastic day. Still don't know how to end these videos, so